departures. To help keep our cabin clean, we ask that you please take any remaining items with you and place them in a trash.
Alright, that's enough. I'll take things from here. When you open the overhead compartment, please be careful, as items may have shifted in flight. And please, for the love of God, don't get your ass up until we get to the gate and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Alright, welcome to Toronto Pearson. It's about 11 a.m. and we have a solid 10 hours before our flight to Paris departs at 9:30 this evening. If you saw my last video, you know that I definitely don't mind having time to kill in and around major airports. Alright, just got to Toronto. That might have been the most seamless arrival experience I've ever had, domestic and international. So I got through customs in approximately 1.5 minutes. They did ask some pretty good questions. They're like, what are you doing here? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be here for 11 hours and I'm heading to Paris. They needed to see my boarding pass to Paris, which I showed them. They asked me if I was meeting anyone. I said my family. They asked me what airline they were flying, when they were getting in. Very thorough, good screening by Canadian immigration. Felt very secure. Yeah, flight here from Charlotte was awesome, uneventful, beautiful day to fly. And now we collected our bag, head into the exit here, and hopefully find a gym.
I traveled to Singapore recently, and no word of a lie, I came off the plane feeling like the Nutty Professor. I wanted at least a treadmill. I said to my friend, like, I wish I had a treadmill to at least go get my hydration on and just sweat. And so here we are. For my life, for a musician that travels a lot, it's perfect for me. And I'm so grateful. Like, this isn't no gimmick here. They're not paying me to say this. This is for real. Welcome to the good life. And it feels so good.
So you've seen me do some lounge hopping, you've seen me do some plane spotting. But in an international hub like Toronto, the menu of options is just a little bit broader. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Goodlife Fitness. Potentially the single greatest airport amenity for restless travelers like myself. Located landside in Terminal 1, this compact yet well-equipped gym opened in 2013 and charges just 25 Canadian dollars for a day pass. Not too bad in my opinion, considering they also have showers and a place to store your luggage. But anyways, I hit it up around noon or 1 p.m. on a Saturday and had the place pretty much to myself. Really solid experience and definitely would recommend for anyone with some time to kill at Pearson. Alright, workout complete. It's about, I want to say like 1:30, 2 p.m. now. And our flight doesn't leave until 9:30 this evening. The plan was to have the rest of my family meet me here so we could go into town via the train, but their flight got delayed, so those plans fell through. So I'm not heading into town solo. We're gonna take this Union Pearson Express train. Seems pretty efficient / convenient, but yeah, about to head into town, share some footage as soon as I have it. Starved after that workout, so hopefully we can pick up something good in town. Checking in. It's about 5:30 p.m. We've had ourselves a great time this afternoon in downtown Toronto. Stopped to get a poke bowl chicken sandwich and a vegan sushi roll to effectively quench the hunger for the time being. Alright, at this point, we're at T-minus 5 hours till departure, and it still feels kind of early to be heading back to the airport, but I've walked just about everywhere you can walk in downtown Toronto, and I'm pretty spent. So let's hop back on the train. Next stop, Terminal 3. So I got about 50 feet, and then we hit a bit of congestion. Really not a great design in the landside area here. There's about a 3-foot lane for people to navigate, and this lady decides that right during rush hour is a great time to relocate her little baggage sizer. At the end of the day, probably not her fault though. She's just doing her job. I'd pin this on the Toronto Airport Authority or whoever sketched up this nightmare of a layout. Another good reason to show up early and give yourself plenty of time, even if you're a top-tier elite or flying business class. Alright, that cluster out of the way, let's get checked in. Alright, just cleared security here in Terminal 3 at Toronto. Bit of a debacle with my carry-on because I have all my laptops, my work laptop, my MacBook, my iPad, and then just like a cavernous space for all my other necessities for travel. But so I forgot to take the laptops out, and so obviously that came back. This isn't pre-check, this is Canada. They take their security screening seriously. But it's about 7:30, flight leaves at 9:30, boards at 8:40. En route to the Air France lounge to meet up with the family. Hey, how are you?
Oh, okay, States.
Yeah, because you're on that front. Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
She said 8:30.
No, she said to let friends board. We can stay.
We can stay till 9
Yeah.
with food, right?
It's cooking and good looking. Hey, what's up? As you can see, it's fairly busy tonight, but luckily the fam's got my back and has already blocked up a spot right in front of the window. This ain't no Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse or United Polaris Lounge, but it's got some nice runway views, a fair selection of hot and cold food, and nice staff. Alright, successful lounge visit. Probably spent about an hour in here. Got a little bit to eat. Wasn't a super large food selection, but it was fairly tasty. I got a glass of wine, Tito's and soda, and we're about to head down to the gate to board. It's like 8:40. Boarding is delayed, I think, by 10 or 15 minutes. Said they were delayed prepping the aircraft or something, but we're gonna go walk down and get some steps in beforehand. 7-hour flight over to Paris. All right, have a great night. Thank you. Where's there?
fermement des toboggans. Vérification de la porte opposée.
The seatbelt sign is on. Please make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened.
Nous vous recommandons de la maintenir attachée de façon visible Vous êtes toute seule pour faire les sacs?
Non, les avions sont déjà en position en haut.
Alright, if you've made it to this point, I'm pretty impressed. For better or for worse, it's definitely turned out to be a little bit more than just a flight review. And I apologize in advance for the background noise. I'm actually recording the last bit of narration from a coffee shop in San Francisco on my AirPods. But let's recap the experience. How did Air France do? I'm going to grade them on two main dimensions. The booking or pre-travel experience, and then the day of travel experience. Within the latter bucket, we'll take a look at both the soft and hard products. The booking experience was fairly straightforward. I found the fare through Google Flights and booked through Delta. For some, this would be incredibly confusing, as no flights on this itinerary were actually operated by Delta. However, Delta is pretty well integrated with Air France KLM, given they have a transatlantic joint venture. As you can see, these fares are dirt cheap for transatlantic business class on a full-service carrier. Actually cheaper than premium economy on most airlines for most cities on most dates.
Anyways, booking experience gets an A- in my view.
My only complaint was that Delta couldn't share my passport info and COVID forms with either Air France or KLM, so I had to enter the same info on each carrier's respective websites. Slightly frustrating, but first world problem. Otherwise, the three airlines are fairly well integrated in the sense I could select my Air France and KLM seats on Delta's website, check in on Delta's website, etc.
Soft product gets an A- as well. Service was kind and professional, but the airport staff and cabin crew didn't really go above and beyond to make the experience super special. To be fair though, my standards for service quality were permanently elevated by a recent Singapore Airlines experience. There's just nothing quite like it. Alright, that just leaves the hard product. I'm giving it an A. The seat was not necessarily modern, but it was private and comfortable for sleeping. The food tasted fresh, and there was plenty of it, which isn't necessarily the case on all transatlantic flights now post-pandemic. The amenity kit had a nice texture to it. It was fairly well stocked. Here we've got the usual suspects, including eye shade, earplugs, a couple of lotions and potions to reverse the aging process and effectively keep me young, toothpaste, and socks. Well, that just about does it. Oh wait, one more thing. Let's talk ticket price. This was by far and away the best deal I've ever gotten on long-haul business class. I paid 1,930 Canadian round trip, which at the time translated to just under 1,500 USD. That ticket got me the itinerary you now see on your screen. Outbound on Air France to Paris and inbound on KLM from Amsterdam. That KLM flight was supposed to be on their new 787-10, but it got swapped to a 777, which is an older 222 layout but was still sufficient for a day flight. I'll eventually be making a video on that return, so stay tuned. Alright, now that's officially all I've got on this one. So thanks again for coming along, and see you in the next one.